Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say. In recent years, Lagos has pursued an aggressive agenda of urban redevelopment aimed at transforming the city into a global economic hub. However, this drive for modernization has often come at the expense of the urban poor. Nowhere is this tension more evident than in Oworonshoki, a densely populated waterfront community in Koshofe local government area, where large-scale demolitions have sparked public outrage and, of course, protest. While the Lagos state government argues that the demolitions are part of a legal and necessary environmental cleanup, and infrastructure upgrade. Residents and civil society groups allege that the action are politically motivated and serve elite interests under the guise of development. The conflict unfolding, of course, in the Oworonshoki area raises critical questions about land rights, social justice, and the role of government in urban planning. Who benefits from these redevelopment projects? Whose voices are excluded from decision making, and what does the future hold for communities being displaced in the name of progress? It's another beautiful episode on your favorite primetime show, Ways. My name remains Osayiwa Mesale. Today's topic, we will really just explore what's happening in Oworonshoki area and what it says about development and the power in Lagos. Now, remember, Ways is all about you. You are the wine way. So be a part of the conversation by adding your voice to the discussion. You can also head onto our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. Hit the subscribe button, like, share, invite families, friends, and of course, leave us a comment on our YouTube handles. Now, when we open the phone lines, we'd really love to hear your your thoughts on this topic. Now, remember, as always, let me allow you ponder on my quote for the day. It says, the main aim of this forceful eviction by the Lagos state government is to grab land from the poor and redistribute it to the rich and powerful through private developers. And this was said by Okpeyemi Ogulami, and she is a representative, or is a representative of Coalition of Victims of the Oworonshoki Illegal Demolition. Now, of course, we'll delve into the conversation on Oworonshoki much later, but first, let me run off on a break and just bring you some news interests for the day. Stay with me. All right, you're still watching Ways. Now, I'm going to start off with the Israeli army said it's targeted senior Hamas leaders on Tuesday after the AEF journalist in Doha reported explosions in the capital, the Qatari capital, where the Palestine group political bureau is based. The IDF is called the Israeli military, and the ISA security agencies conducted a precise strike targeting senior leadership of the Hamas terrorist organization. The military said without specifying where the strike took place. Tuesday's strike comes come less than 2 weeks after Armed Forces Chief Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir vowed to target the groups, right? The group leaders based abroad. Hamas and Israel have held multiple rounds of indirect ceasefire negotiations brokered by Qatar, Egypt, and of course the United States throughout the nearly 2-year Gaza war. So Hamas said that the strike killed 5 of its members, but did not assassinate the negotiating delegation. Qatar and Hamas both said that a Qatari security official died in the strike as well. Hamas said it holds the U.S. administration jointly responsible. The attack was months in the making, according to 2 Israeli sources, but was accelerated in recent weeks. It targeted residential buildings housing several members of the Hamas political bureau in Doha, Qatar. So Foreign Minister spokesperson Majed Al-Ansari said, the spokesperson called this attack, the attack, a criminal assault that constitutes a blatant violation of international laws and norms. Okay, so I don't know. I just saw this as a breaking news, and honestly, anywhere in the world, I still cannot understand the rationale behind wars. I can't understand it, and it will take me a minute for me to get it. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to get people to come help us break down what exactly is going on. But when I saw this attack on Doha, I was a bit worried because Doha slowly has become another holiday destinations for most people across the world. How would this impact the safety perception that people have of Doha? But it's something that we'll keep an eye on, and let's see how this unfolds. All right, so I'll move on to the story on the National Assembly that they have formally rejected the senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Onuaga's plan to resume legislative duties. The Assembly stated that her 6-month suspension remains in force pending the outcome of a Court of Appeal case instituted against the Senate by Akpoti-Onuaga. In a letter issued by the acting clerk to the National Assembly, Dr. Yahaya Danzaria, and dated on September 4th, 2025, the Senate acknowledged Akpoti-Onuaga's notification of her intended return on September 4th, and the date she claimed marked the end of her suspension. However, the Senate clarified that her suspension took effect on March 6th, 2026, and emphasized that the matter is still sub judice. And of course, the Senate insisted that no administrative action can be taken until the Court of Appeal delivers a verdict. And the letter stated that the Senate would only review her suspension after the court's pronouncement. So let us see how that goes. We've not really heard about Natasha in a minute, and I don't think I was expecting a welcome party, based on all the things that have happened. There were really strong allegations that were flying all over the place. And till date, right, I feel very lost. And I'm sure a lot of Nigerians are in that same position as to why, with all those heavy allegations, there was nothing like evidential, evidence brought forth in front of courts and all of that. But hey, I really can't tell what is going on. So let's see what the ruling of the courts will be, and let's see how she plans to come back to the Senate. I'll move on to the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, has said that the proposed fuel surcharge is intended to generate a dedicated fund for Nigeria's deteriorating roads, and not to add extra strain on households. Oyedele acknowledged public worries that recent tax reforms could worsen inflation, but argued that the improved road infrastructure is essential to lowering the cost of moving goods and people. However, it also sparked a lot of anxiety about potential inflation, and the Trade Union Congress has also threatened to call a nationwide strike within 2 weeks if the federal government fails to scrap the tax. Oyedele linked the poor state of roads directly to inflation, noting a yawning gap between rural and urban food prices. He dispelled the nation's that the surcharge is unnecessary after the subsidy was removed, stating that the tax was introduced in 2007 and it wasn't implemented because government was subsidizing fuel. So honestly, I'm so confused about this. I'm so confused about this, but I've tried as much as possible to be quiet because maybe if I'm able to get more information, it makes sense. But from a layman's standpoint, right? Subsidy was removed, and I mean, from what we were paying around 140 or something per liter, we are paying almost 900 naira per liter today, right? Shouldn't that tax already be factored inside that cost? Why do we have to start now pay an extra 5% tax again on it? So I just want to make it make sense. And yesterday when I was talking about, there's already an over bloated system. We are spending money that we don't have. We are borrowing money that we do not have real plans to pay back. And yet we're still, with all these things that is happening, we're not even seeing the relief on the citizens, on the everyday user, everyday person that is living in Nigeria. Because tell me how you take away subsidy, it jacks the price like over 500% or whatever it is. And then we have adjusted to the new prices, and you're then coming up with taxes again. That tax should already be factored in. It's just a sad thing. Like literally, is it that the government wants Nigerians to just choke? Because the president said you should let the poor breathe. These people are not breathing. Every day is one bill or the other, one tax or the other. It does not make any sense. So where is all the money that is being generated? What is the plan for the government to even say, okay, you know what, I see your pain, I hear you, and I'm trying to make it better for you. What is the government doing? Because with all of these things you're doing, you are still buying private jets, you're still renovating houses and national assemblies, you're renovating properties with hundreds of billions. All of this is happening. Can't you just use that money and use it to do whatever it is that you want to do to fix the road, instead of now going back to same people? Don't forget that our income has not increased. The income has not increased. Instead, people are even slashing salaries. And yet you are still going back again to burden the already burdened citizen. So I'm really patiently waiting for a clearer explanation to what justifies this tax on fuel. I'm waiting. I'll move on to my final story for today. A group, the Enugu State Patriots, they've thrown in their weight behind the efforts by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commissions and Enugu State government to recover 5.7 billion plus so far that was paid to Sujimoto Luxury Construction Limited for construction of 22 out of the 260 smart green school projects embarked upon by the government. The Enugu State government had accused the chief executive officer of Sujimoto Luxury Construction Limited, that's Olasijibome Ogundele, of defrauding the state of about 5.76 billion meant for construction of 22 smart green schools across the state. Ogundele was declared wanted by EFCC on Friday over alleged money laundering and diversion of funds. Afterwards, a video surfaced when that's Ogundele, was insisting he was not guilty of any crime and was ready to clear his name. Enugu Patriots, in a statement by its spokesperson, Professor Anikwe, said that no one can blame the government for awarding the contract to Sujimoto, given its projects in Lagos, but having failed to show value for money here, we advise Ogundele to clear his crocodile tears and return the money to Indi Enugu. Period. Wow. I saw the videos. I've been quiet about this thing. I almost was tempted to do a video on my social media page. That's where I do my videos. I was almost tempted to do it, but I said, nah, But you see, I just want to say something. Whew, I couldn't watch the full video of the man crying, the CEO, that's Ogundele, but I read the statement that Enugu State government put outside. Honestly, I think it's quite straightforward. It's quite straightforward. And this is what I say all the time, right? Before you pick any contract from a government, be sure that that money, as you are collecting it, is going to finish the project. I post some cryptic messages on social media, but people are not able to see. They just read it on surface level. Because I said it that my father rejected a project. You understand? Because they were demanding a kickback, and by the time he checked it, he knew that kickback would not. By the time he gives them that kickback, it will not, the remaining money will not even start the project, not to talk of finish the project. You understand? In the end, you're the one that they will call. So I'm not saying this is the case for this one, but I'm saying that before you embark on any project, you count it, you do your feasibility plan, you do everything, and you are sure that, this project, you have plans to finish it. A lot of people in real estate development in Nigeria today, they don't have any plan to finish that project that they are trying to sell to you. They have no plan. There's a lot of fraudulent activities going on within the real estate sector. So beyond just Enugu State and Enugu government and Suji Motors, right? The government needs to step into, cleaning up that entire real estate sector, because so many people have collected money, hard-earned money from people, and they have refused to deliver those projects. And we are all quiet, until it gets to our doorstep. We now realize that, this thing is actually happening. So the fraud is a lot, is happening, because tell me why you have 5.7 billion. Because I saw the miserable videos of the project, or how far the project has gone. It was quite miserable and appalling. And another thing to government, you will see honest people, give them work. Mbano. You say, no, you want to go and give it to the people that are, throwing name droppers, dropping names. I've done this, I've done 50 buildings in Banana Island. You like name dropping, because if you really want to find honest, decent contractors, they're plenty. My father is one of them. They're plenty, and they will deliver, even over deliver on the job that that they have promised. And they would do it with integrity in mind, knowing that property will serve generations to come. Is it the ones that we even do the project and we saw those ones that were collapsing? In which other state was that now? How on earth? So we have to also start vetting the people. And government, you are to blame too. Because I am sure honest people would have submitted their tender. You did not give them the project. So let's not just put the blame on one person. So in the Enugu, well done, Ekushe. We'll take a break. When we come back, let's discuss Oworonshoki. See you soon.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I know see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Thanks for staying tuned. Now, the usually bustling Third Mainland Bridge came to a standstill, not due to the city's infamous traffic. This time around, was because of a wave of anger and desperation. Hundreds of residents from the Oworonshoki community took to the streets, blocking the bridge in protest against the ongoing demolition of their homes. The demonstration was not just a response to physical displacement, but a cry against what they perceived as government neglect, forced evictions, and the era of their, or would I say the eradication of their community. Now, the demolition carried out by the Lagos State government under the banner of urban redevelopment and environmental restoration have left thousands homeless and without compensation. For many, these actions represent not just the loss of shelter, but a deeper injustice, one that favors elite development projects over the lives and livelihoods of ordinary citizens. So I believe I have my guests joining me via Zoom. Okpeyemi Ogunlami, he is a community coordinator, Take It Back movement. Okpeyemi, are you there with me?
Yes, I'm here with you. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for joining me this evening. So first of all, are you in the Oworonshoki community? Or you are just, what's
Thank
it
you
called?
for
Or you
having
are
me.
just an independent observer?
I am in the community, and then that's for the past 20 years I've been in the community. So I can attest to the development that had happened in the community for these years. So my
Okay.
business is also in the community there.
Oh, great, great. So I think you're the perfect person we should be talking to then. You know, because from what I gather, the scope of demolitions, I think it started from late July. It says that the state forces rather, they demolished around 7,000 homes and structures in Oworonshoki, particularly in the areas as Okeri, Precious Seed, Odun Ifa,
Yeah.
Mosafejo, Ogooluwa, and nearby streets, right? And they said the areas that were affected included Oluwaseyi, Cornerstone, and community streets, right? And was there ever an enforcement notice that led to some of these demolitions? Because let us start from that, foundation. I saw a video of one of these popular Instagram, would I call her, businesswoman that has now become very popular, Mommy Glee. I think she does skincare and hair, if I'm not mistaken. She was the one that first posted that video, and she was talking about how there was no prior notice, there was no nothing, and all of that. Because from what we gathered, the enforcement notice that was leading to some of the demolitions, right, was issued July 18th, 2023.
Yeah.
Right? So really, was there any demolition notice that was issued? Let's start from that.
Okay. Let me first, I want to start from the reason for demolition. But as you started the question asking about the enforcement notice, let me pick it this way. You see, the issue of demolition on the Third Mainland Bridge started this year, April. People got notification this year, April. The one you just mentioned was 2023. They mean to demolish locations from, let me say, from Third Mainland Bridge to Ifako bus stop, where you have Goodland Church. And then all the communities behind Oworonshoki would all be destroyed. And I am telling you, not somebody who hears, we're speaking from hearsay, but someone who was on ground with a stakeholder in the community, with the traditional stool in a meeting. First, let me say this. The reason for that demolition is not far-fetched. You can Google it if you want to fact-check. Go and check. Just type the elite villa Oworonshoki to give you insight into what I'm talking about tonight. They want development in Oworo. Yes, we will have development, but a development that is coming at the detriment of the people isn't a development. It is callousness. The Oba of Oworo is the instigator of this thing we are having, though he is also a puppet to some people. But here we are, because they wanted the elite villa, they are destroying lives of people who have been in that community for the past 35, 40 years. They care less about them. They want to evict them and then take over their land without compensation, without relocation or settlement somewhere else. Who does that? And in a land, in a country where we have kings, where we have government, no king has the constitutional authority whatsoever over the land. Now, as I've given that information, they came in 2023, as big as the community may be, let me just say they wanted to destroy Ikoyi from Obalende to where should I put, law school. But they only pasted the notification under the bridge in Obalende. And by the time demolition comes, they started demolition down to law school. Those ones do not receive any notification. So people that got notification were people at the waterfront, as in people that built their plank houses close to the water. They got notification, and the notification only came from the local security. They only pasted it. By the time they came in, they took over large expanse of land. They destroyed houses in 2023. While they were doing that, on the spot, a 5-year-old boy died after his father's house got demolished. The boy just cried and asked his dad, where are we going? The dad said, let's just go. The boy only took few steps and slumped, and the boy died. Nobody cared about that life. Nobody gave account about that life that was lost. And then the man just accepted, because he had nobody in a country like this, where a king who has a child in his house would make sure that he would have evict people without caring for them. We have local government chairman who have a constitutional right to land matters. We have a governor who have constitutional right to land matters, keeping quiet. Oworonshoki demolition is out of greed, because they want to take land from the poor and redistribute to the greedy, the rich ones. Okay. This isn't the country we want. Okay, and then we said we shall build a country where no man is oppressed. Lagosians are oppressed, and Oworonshoki people are oppressed, and we will reject it. Okay, so let us break this down, because I am trying as much as possible to come from a very neutral standpoint, that I am not emotional about this. You know how it is very possible that in Lagos, a lot of people settle in, because I've just been there for years, right? No proper land documentation, no proper nothing. So they've just been there for years, and they've been, and the truth is that I've always said it, that the day a government wakes up, the government don't wake up be that too. Because if that's why, whatever it is that you're doing, be intentional about documenting and keeping your documents. Right? Because it is only those people that have documentation, I am perceiving, might find some level of compensation or whatever. So I want to understand the way the settlement is in the Oworonshoki area, right? Are there all these people that are protesting, do they have proper legal rights to those lands that you are saying that the government is trying to redistribute to the elite? Okay. In the whole world, even in the United States, we have informal settlement areas in any country. It's in India. We need to first establish that fact. There are informal settlement areas where people with low income or the vulnerable can live. It is the responsibility of government to provide shelter for the people. We need not to throw that away. Now, going back to documentation, they went to Okieri, from Okieri to Lonet to Koka community, from Ferry down to that side. They demolished. I can establish this fact to you, that the area is gazetted, approved by the Lagos State government. The Gazette, I can tell you, the Omonile people have it. So that area is not just an informal settlement area. I mean the Okeri area to Lone. It's a particular area that is gazetted and has its documents. And I can throw this challenge out, even to the Oba of Oworonshoki, that his family does not have any right to land in Oworonshoki. And we can prove that. Let him bring out any documents if his father's name has any evidence of documentation in Oworo. But they want to use politics to get properties for themselves. And I'm saying it, we also have Koka family. The Koka also have rights. They have claims to documents. We have the Oloto family. The Oloto family has claim to documents. So they are not just areas that people will just come to live and then go. The only thing we see here is the power that be want to wield access for themselves. That's just the only thing happening over there. Are documents in all these places.
Okay, so quick one. I want to ask, what is supposed to be the ideal process in serving a notification for demolition? Like a notice, I want to serve a notice, because what you said is quite alarming. If you are demolishing between Obalende to law school and you only pasted something under the Obalende bridge, so what happens to every other person? What would have been the ideal way to serve these notifications for demolition?
Well, I am not in the right position to say, but I took the community to our lawyer, the Take It Back lawyer, Barrister Tokwete Mokon today, and he gave insight into how it should be. That governments may, just the way landlord and tenants may have an agreement, if you are a year rental payments tenant, you have 6 months. From there, you can still baggage for 3 months. Then, now the idea here, governments want to demolish a place. They need to engage the people. There need to be engagement. In this one, there was no engagement. The people are subject to whatever comes to their lives. And these people are not goods. They are also educated human beings, elders. You need to engage them. You need to let them see reasons you want to do what you intend to do. There was never any engagement. The government claimed unaware. Till now, even till yesterday, before the Third Mainland Bridge was blocked, the local government chairman stated where I was, and he knew it was a lie. We have video evidences on social media to prove that he was aware since 2023, even if he lied. He said he was not aware. How could you say so? When we all knew that there was rumor in the community that after 2025 July election, local council election, they are coming back. They let you finish to gain entrance into office. Meanwhile, they spread the message via WhatsApp in the community. But they are evil leaders. I'm sorry to use that word. They are bad leaders in the community. The CDA leaders, some of the top CDA leaders and landlords that are APC faithfuls, they debunked it, saying it's not right, it's not genuine, it's because of the election. Election came 2 days after the election. They brought Caterpillar to Oworonshoki. What leader does that? There was no engagement. And when people saw this notification, let me pick it from people around the Third Mainland Bridge. They saw the notification that their area is not good, not eviction notice. They went to find out, because the notification came from local government, Koshofe to be precise. They went to the king, they even bought a gift. His first excuse was they need to take care of their community, make sure that place is clean, the place is tidy, it's not good enough, blah, blah, blah. They want to develop Oworonshoki and make it good with nice edifice. Yes, those people went. In fact, a woman sold a house around, I don't know the exact place, maybe Ikorodu or Mowe. The woman sold a house and used the money to renovate the house they just demolished around Third Mainland Bridge.
Wow.
The woman is at loss in 2 places.
Wow. You
Now,
know,
after everything was a church also that's a church that have been there for 36 years, got the church renovated. Everything is from 12 midnight on Saturday.
wow.
What government does that? So there
Okay.
was no engagement with the people. There was nothing with the people before this were done.
You know, so the government's justification is that the state, that especially notably the tax force, right, the state tax, they characterize that those areas that
Yeah.
were targeted, the structures, they are all makeshift and they are all illegal shanties. They allege that there's a link to criminality, things around robbery on Third Mainland Bridge, you know, environmental degradation. You know, there's just a lot that they have alleged. But let's go on a break. When we come back from that break, we'll pick up the conversation from there. Stay with us. All right, so if you just tuned in, we're having a conversation around the demolition that is going on in Oworonshoki area and the politics of the redevelopment in Lagos State. Just before I went on a break, Okpeyemi, I was saying that the allegation of Lagos State government, because you can't also deny the fact that we have had several cases of robbery over the past years. In fact, at some point, Oworo used to be a very hotbed. Like literally, if you're coming down Third Mainland Bridge around 10 p.m., it was so bad. And to think that there's a police station just right around the corner, and it was almost like a given that you will be robbed at certain times of the day, you know, when you're coming back from Third Mainland Bridge. Because I lived in Magodo for years, and I remember that, you know, coming back from the office on the island and going to Magodo, it was always prayer and fasting because of as soon as you are descending the bridge, that entire Oworonshoki area used to be very, very rough and tough. So there are some truth in the allegations that the Lagos State government, you know, they have they have alleged. So are these buildings shanties and makeshift? Because the one I saw online was a proper structure. It wasn't a makeshift, it wasn't whatever. But the majority of these buildings that are being demolished, are they shanties, are they makeshift buildings, as they are alleging?
Okay, let me start from the allegation. Oworonshoki in the last 4 years now has been peaceful. Reason I will give you, I am an active community person in Oworo. When Oworonshoki was a deadly place, the people who caused the havoc in Oworo are the people who call themselves the royal stools in that community. Before the late king, the previous king in Oworonshoki became a king, they fought over kingship in that community. That king consulted a fraction of cultists to guide himself and to fight the opponent. I'm giving you the in-depth in brief. The opponent also consulted other fraction. They collided in the fight. After that king got the throne, that is Oba Babatunde Saliu, the late one, this present king's father. The boys didn't stop fighting. The ammunitions or whatever that have been given to them continued. They were fighting. After the killing, in fact, there was no 1 week you will not hear killings in Oworonshoki. And sometimes some boys will finish doing this evil act on the street and still end up in their palace. They will protect those boys because they are their home. Fortunately and then unfortunately, these boys are vulnerable. They use them for political reasons. Those were the periods you will see that those boys would rob on Third Mainland Bridge. I also was a victim of such in the past. Then, if they arrest any of these boys, the Alonge police station in Oworonshoki will arrest one of these boys. Political leaders in Koshope will call. They will release them under this. The boys got power more than anybody. That was the noise you heard in Lagos. Most of those boys you saw that turned robbers were also vulnerables in the hand of our politicians. The real thug in Lagos are our politicians, and I'm establishing that for what had happened in Oworonshoki. Now, Oworonshoki brought in local security. They flushed out those boys. That's about 4 years ago. They flushed them out. And since then, you can enter Oworo at any time. You are safe, even till now. They instituted the local security. They are functioning. They bought walkie-talkie for them. They are about 25 or 35 in number for the community. So this time, there is nothing like that place is criminal hideout. The only reason that thing happened in the past was once those boys go to rob or to fight, they were documenting this criminal act in the police station in Alonge so that they will make reference to it. The former king actually took a step towards that. In fact, I can still tell you from an allegation that I heard, there was a DPO about 4 years ago in Oworo. If Oworo is peaceful, they will be the one to call boys to go and walk. After the boys destroy area, they would go out. Police will pick anybody they see on the streets. 10,000 bathing, everybody. We walk the transfer of that DPO from Oworo. I don't want to mention the name. Sahara reporters also brought it out because we got to know that the DPO was giving was making donation of 50,000 per day or thereabouts. It was Sahara reporter. The criminality, people eating from criminality in Nigeria are really making wealth. And that's what we've seen happened and what played out in Oworonshoki. The boys were vulnerables in their hands and they used them badly for political reasons. They planned those things for this demolition to happen because they've been talking about this thing in the last 25 or 20 years. In fact, daily...
Go ahead.
Oshinowo, Bayo Oshinowo was the one defending that they should not go there. The late Bayo Oshinowo. He was one defending that area. So at this time, when they said that place is a criminal hideout, when they said that place is a criminal hideout, there was nothing like that. Everybody pulled out. How could it be criminal hideout when we have local security? We had a press conference and we told them it was all lies. That was the letter. When we got to the House of Assembly, Jeje Loye brought out the letter the Oba of Oworo wrote to him, to his office, that that place must be demolished. Unfortunately for him, in our own investigation, we discovered an advertisement at law school and at around the Yanoworo. Billboard, big one. They called it the Elite Villa, Oworonshoki Waterfront. Per square meter, 120,000. And then you buy 500 square meter, that's 60 million. 1,000 square meter, that's 120 million. That's the price. They have sold all the lands that you've seen that people are occupying. They've sold them within their own campus. Then you want to evict these people. You keep lying. You keep lying. I can tell you for fact that in 2024, before they got to discover that they can use building control, before they discover they can use them, they have used NIWA, National Inland Waterways Authority, against the people of Oworonshoki, saying that they contravene waterways, blah, blah, blah law. Thanks to Amnesty International, who came to the rescue of the people. They conquered task force in 2023. They went to use Amnesty so that task force could come back again. NIWA was conquered. Then the king said again to another community, that's Precious Seed, that's Ferry community. He said that community is meant for their shrine, that the people that are there, more than 20,000 people there, should leave the area. And we wrote a letter to Area H in Ogudu, the area commander, that if anything happens to people in Oworo, we will launch out fully because nobody will go. Because people that are there have been there for 30, 25 years, 40 years are there. You can't just...
Okay, Okpeyemi, Oworonshoki is quite critical in, if you look at...
people. It's high time we started standing up for ourselves. We were making research. And now they went ahead to get authority from building control. Now they want to use the law properly. They discover that, oh, these places are not good. Do you know that these people have actually also contravened the law? Wetland laws and regulations. Oworonshoki had contravened it. PM, nothing is happening. They kept going into the sea, dredging and dredging, which is also against the law. It means the people in authority are also the ones violating the law.
So I wanted to
Now
ask Okpeyemi,
Okpeyemi,
a minute, please. If you can allow me button, right? How do we restructure Lagos in such a way that, you know, it becomes a beautiful sight to behold? That entire Oworonshoki axis, when you're going on Third Mainland Bridge and all of that, you know, that entire, because you see that area is supposed to be part of the beauty of Lagos State, right? Going on Third Mainland Bridge, you know, coming down and those entire thing, what you see, because these are developmental. Would I say these are pivotal rather to, you know, that beautiful Lagos that we are hoping to get, right? What would have made sense in terms of reurbanizing that place or redeveloping that place to look a lot more urban? Would it be that the government should write to the people that if you're not able to afford these, blah, 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 or would a settlement or a relocation plan would it have worked? Because, I mean, they've been doing this, even with Computer Village. I hear that they're relocating them. Alade Market was relocated, you know, and it just a lot of things happening in Lagos State. And that entire Ikeja, they are demolishing a lot of things to expand the roads on Allen, on Toyin, and all of that. So I know that there's a plan to kind of like bring a beautiful city out of Lagos, because again, you can't deny the fact that a lot of constructions would have happened without building permits and all of that. So maybe this is the time to just restructure it in a way that it is better. So what would have been a better approach if you say, okay, you were talking to the government and you wanted to prefer a solution to that plan to kind of just bring back beauty to that entire scenery, so that when you're driving, you're seeing beautiful homes and houses? What would have been a better plan?
Thank you for this. You see, we cannot have any better development in a country that is not inclusive. The people need to also get involved in governance. We have local governments, chairmen, we have councillors. Let them get into their community to tell the people, share the interest and the vision of the government. When people do not have the vision of the government at hand to see the plan of government for their area, then they cannot do anything. Let them see the plan. These are the plan. Let them contribute. These are things we wanted. Do you know that people in Oworonshoki demanded for firefighting service in Oworonshoki for the past 20 years? They've started building for the past 10 years. They've not built it. They've not completed it, and it's in Yanoworo there. Every election season, they keep coming. We are doing it. They will do it to half place. Last election, they came to complete it to half again. They abandoned it. Another election, they will do that. Our leaders are politicizing development in Lagos. That is one. Until they are genuinely ready to engage the people. I just told you that the Oba told those people that their building is not befitting enough, and some people went to sell their houses to rebuild and restructure what they have in Oworonshoki. It means the people are ready for development. They are not willing to live where they have been for long. That's one point. But people that developed their house to a befitting interest of whoever is telling them, their house got demolished. Some people even were accused because Bola Oki, the manager, came boldly onto the people. I was not there. If I were there, I would show him and I would shock him, because he was telling people, just telling them, only one person has say of, oh yeah, it's a lie. Go to the building they are destroying. People are there to show documents. I took the press there yesterday. They showed documents. They said they have documents, but their houses were demolished and nobody is ready to talk to them. And if people in government, okay, let me say if people in authority actually have the interest of the people at heart, what makes them come in the middle of the night? We should ask. People were sleeping and they started hearing bulldozer on them. That is bad. Why can't they come in the day? Because one, they knew that when they came in the day during the last time, there was confrontation. So this time, there won't be a confrontation. They did this from past 12. So if government want development, call the people. And I will tell you that people of Oworonshoki have been attending, including myself. We have been attending developmental meetings in Oworo, in Unilag. We've been going around discussing with professors in Unilag how to develop our communities. I'm telling you meetings that we've done. Things that are sustainable. If governments want development, they should look for sustainable development. They know what they are doing. These people haven't told the lines of sustainability because the path they are throwing now is a path of destruction because the people will resist at this time and they will resist with anything. You cannot come and destroy their house and you say you want development without them.
Thank you so much, Okoyemi. We're going to keep an eye on the story and we're going to continue monitoring it. But thank you so much for your time. I think you've really done justice to the conversation. Right, the Oworonshoki case illustrates how urban planning has become a site of class struggle in Lagos. Redevelopment projects are often marketed as public interest ventures, but in literal sense, right, they tend to favor private developers, real estate elites, and foreign investors. The resulting class cleansing displaces, the working class from valuable urban spaces, while infrastructure and services are disproportionately directed towards wealthier enclaves. Now, the government's refusal to provide viable alternatives for evicted families reinforces a system of urban exclusion where development is seen as a privilege, not a right. And the broader implication for this is that the governance and urban justice beyond Oworonshoki, the politics of redevelopment in Lagos reveals a widening gap between the state and its citizens, governance practice that prioritize profit over people, that erodes public trust, that risk triggering more widespread unrest without transparency, inclusivity, and accountability. Urban redevelopment becomes not a tool for progress, but a mechanism for state-sponsored inequality. Furthermore, the lack of legal remedies and social safety nets for displaced residents exposes the fragility of Nigeria's urban governance framework. To avoid further social crisis, Lagos must balance its modernization goals with a commitment to human-centered urbanism, one that respects rights, protects community, and builds future for all, not just the people that have the money and the elite. So it's everybody that needs to be shielded and sheltered. Thank you so much again to our guest, Okoyemi, for joining us this evening. And before we go, ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's at Official Upgrade TV. Like, share, invite families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. If you missed this quote, here it is again. It says, the main aim of this forceful eviction by the Lagos State government is to grab land from the poor and redistribute it to the rich and powerful through private development. And this was from our guest, Okoyemi, Coalition of Victims of Oworonshoki Illegal Demolition. I'll see you guys, or Chioma will see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evening.